What a glorious afternoon at Conner Prairie. We're doing what may be our final hard hat tour for our staff, so you can see the progress that's been made on the Museum Experience Center. We actually have temporary occupancy on the building, even though there's plenty of work to still be done. I just kind of wanted to show you the lay of the land once again. I'm actually standing on the ramp that goes out to Conner Prairie, to Prairie Town itself. This is how our guests will get out to the grounds. You can see down with the turnabout where our tram is. You can see the Golden Eagle in the distance there, so guests can walk out and get on the tram and go over to the junction, or they can walk and go to Prairie Town past the Golden Eagle, or come back and take the other direction towards Lenape, the Conner House, and eventually Prairie Town itself. They can also go to the Balloon Experience. But for right now, I want to walk you back up the ramp, and we're going to go into the Prairie Overlook and see what that progress has looked like. So I'm walking the opposite direction of what our guests will. They'll be coming from this space into the area to exit. This is the new Prairie Overlook, and this is an overflow space for the cafe. It's also an overflow space for our guests to enjoy before they go over to Prairie Town and other exhibits outside, or perhaps once they come back, they'll want to get something from the cafe and sit here and decompress and talk about the great experiences that they've had out on the ground. So this is a multifunctional space once again, and you can see it has a great view of everything that you're going to see at Conner Prairie. Come with me and we're going to walk into the cafe space. I know that Kim Jones and our food and beverage staff, they're all excited about this new space where for the first time we're going to have an indoor cafe. And you can see that we're beginning to the right. This is a temporary exhibit space where Spark Lab is going to be, and the open door on the other side is actually the space where we're going to have a kind of a conference room or a meeting room. So we're standing in the old Overlook area, and you can see it's had quite a facelift. And we've done that with the old Overlook and Woodland North and South. They've all received facelifts to really make it look like a new space. So you're looking at new carpeting. We didn't have tile in front of the fireplace before, and we have new doors coming in and out, so it actually makes it a more defined space for our meetings, whether they're corporate meetings or our own Conner Prairie meetings. So this should look very familiar to everyone. This is what the old Woodland North and South, and we will be assigning new names for these spaces in the weeks to come. But you see it's set up for breakfast with Santa. So as you know, even with the old spaces before we renovated, look how wonderful it is. The new color scheme, lighting, carpeting, all the furnishings that are in here are going to be just dynamic for all of the meetings that we have, whether it's our internal Conner Prairie meetings or it's corporate clients that we have. They're all going to be able to enjoy this space. This is the entryway that goes into the space where Woodland North and South and Overlook is at. This is the new entryway. They're still working on the Power of Place, the new orientation space, and so we'll try to take a look inside that in just a minute. But our guests will be coming from below up on the elevators of the stairs, and this will be the entry orientation space, Power of Place, before they go to Wellspring, the Torn exhibit, Spark Lab, and other activities in this building. So I'm actually in the Power of Place exhibit. I've left Gallery 5. I'm entering into the last gallery, which actually tells the story of this place from the standpoint of the White River and the Oxbow. So once again, the land and the river in our time, in the 20th and 21st century. And we're beginning to tell that story of land stewardship and water stewardship in this space. And we're inviting our guests to better understand how a place like Conner Prairie is preserved and how they can preserve their own place in the world. So I'm exiting the Power of Place into the hallway that is between Power of Place and Wellspring, and down this hallway is actually the Torn exhibit, and then there's a hallway that goes back up to the cafe area. We also have our sensory room right around the corner. Even though right now it's full of materials, this will be a space with painted floors and walls that'll actually tie the exhibits together so you can see the archway that leads us into Wellspring. Wow, what a difference a couple of months makes on this Wellspring exhibit. What you're looking at now is I've just entered the Wellspring area like I'm in the White River, and you're looking at the banks and you're seeing aspects of the culture of this area, things that you might actually find in the riverbank, but is representative, once again, of the mythology of the river. And so whether it's things of our time period or things that nature has brought about. The mythology of Wellspring, there's different characters within the space. I'm standing up on the second floor of the sycamore tree, so our children and adults can explore alike. I can enter into the sycamore tree and go up to the next phase of this area. Children, probably not adults, will be able to come down the slide in this area area. And then to my left here, this is actually the dome part of what's below, which is the area that is the where we have the turtle story, and it actually is the iconic images of Wellspring that our children and adults can discover different stories about this space. As you move around, you go under the covered bridge, and there's the meditation or heron space, and then the dome to across the way is where the theater is. So there's so many different activities that you're going to find in this Wellspring exhibit. Once again, this is a one-of-a-kind, unique artscape project for education. There's going to be nothing like this in the world, so Conner Prairie is very proud of what Wes Bruce and the Curious Life team is bringing to us when we open this new museum experience space on April 4th. So we're up on the second floor, and this is like I've just walked out of the Power of Place exhibit into the hallway between Power of Place and Wellspring, and I can choose to go into the Wellspring exhibit, or I can choose to come forward to the Torn exhibit. This is our new exhibit about Conner Prairie, specifically through the eyes of not the Conner brothers, but their wives, Macungus and Lenape X. These doors will open, and they'll come into the space, and it begins to introduce, once again, the environment that you might find outside, but an environment you might have found outside pre-Prairie Town of 1836. Our exhibit team, Alice and the team, they've been working extremely hard, and you can see how it's beginning to develop. As you know, William Conner and Macungus had 6 children, and in this space, we actually tell the story of the next generation of the children of William Conner and Macungus, and we tell their story through the eyes of the Lenape Nation. And so this space that you're looking at now is kind of the concluding part of the Conner children going into the latter part of the 19th century and up to the early 20th century. And then as you exit, there's going to be more about the Lenape culture today. So I'm coming down the grand staircase. This is one of the ways our guests will go up to the new orientation space and all the exhibits. And then behind the camera is actually the elevators that's going up. As you can see, they've just about completed the space. They're doing the last little bit. As a matter of fact, they're cleaning up the space. I'm actually standing where our new membership and guest service desk and kiosk is going to be. So when guests come through the door, this will be what they're experiencing. To my right is actually the new retail center, and you can see work is being done in that space. So I know that Dan is really excited about what that means. And then to the left, as you enter the building, there's going to be a whole bank of video screens that'll be telling all the things that you'll be able to encounter at Conner Prairie. There's also going to be video screens hanging from the mezzanine area over the membership desk that has all the information about ticketing and other events that we have for the day. And then beyond this are the downstairs restrooms. And then as I walk back this direction, you're going to see a hallway, and this comes from the northern side of the parking lot in the building, and this is actually going to be our new school entry for not all school groups, but many of the school groups that are coming certain times of the season. Also around the back of the stairs is where the restrooms is at. So we've just come from the new Grand Hall. Like our members have made the decision that perhaps they've already seen the exhibits and everything upstairs, and they actually want to see the temporary exhibits, or perhaps they want to visit the grounds where the balloon is. So this is actually the ground floor, and to my left, you see the almost completed conservation studio, and this is part of our collections and preservation part of our story. So not only are we talking about the objects in our collection and the conservation methods that we use, but we also have a new collections viewing area where guests will be able to have access and see into the vault and begin to understand why we have these collections, and from a preservation standpoint, what we have to do with conservation on certain objects to make sure that they're here for a long time. To my right is actually where we have office space for marketing and communications, as well as food and beverage, and then the library and digital experiences, and then volunteer lounge down the hallway. So I've just walked out of the collections viewing area and into our new changing exhibit gallery. This is for traveling exhibits as well as changing exhibits that we mount ourselves at Conner Prairie. This is the old space that used to be Create Connect, Make Smith Workshop, and then of course Spark Lab before we took it out. This is now an over 3,000 square foot changing and temporary exhibit gallery that meets all of the standards for the Smithsonian and other type of institutions that we would want to bring in. Our first exhibit will be in the middle or the summer of 2026, and it's called Food. It actually deals with the cuisine from around the world. So I'm actually coming out of the changing exhibit gallery, and these doors will not be accessible for people that are in the space. This is a staff only, but if you can imagine these doors opening into this space, we have a new freight elevator in this area. So when we have changing exhibits coming in, we can quarantine them in the new space and then take them up to the second floor for anything that's going in that space, or if it starts on the second floor, bringing it down, because this is also the vault area where we have our collection storage. So this all becomes a little bit different and easier configuration for our collections management staff and exhibit staff to use than the way the building was configured before. So I'm coming out of the hallway into the office space and the program space for interpretation and the program teams. We have offices on either side of this space, and this will be, once again, open workspace with cubicles and other things for interpreters as well as the program staff. There's also going to be a small meeting area here as well as one other small room. So if you're in the interpretive and program area and you had offices in this space before, many of you will be coming back to the same space. It's just been reconfigured, and once again, it's going to be ergonomically, so to speak, a little bit better workspace for everyone. So I'm exiting the Museum Experience Center, having had a remarkable day at Conner Prairie, and I hope each and every one of you, as we begin to engage with this new space, once again, achieving the mission of Conner Prairie each and every day. I hope you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes tour of what is beginning to be a really completed Museum Experience Center. I hope you're as excited about getting back into this building as I am. I hope you have a happy holidays.